seen the movie, The Man from Snowy River?
Yeah.
No.
Wow, that many. Okay.
I'm obviously not.
I'm going to tell you the story. If you have a look at the $10 note, there's a guy in it wearing a hat like mine. That's Banjo Patterson. Banjo Patterson wrote the story, The Man from Snowy River. I'm going to recite it for you, word for word, as he wrote it. It's the story about a horse chase. This blood horse, it's a colt, escapes, jumps the fence or whatever, and joins the wild bush horses. And they take off after. It's all about the chase. There was movement at the station, for the word had passed around that the colt from Old Regret had got away. It had joined the wild bush horses. He was worth £1,000. All the cracks had gathered to the fray. All the tried and noted riders from the stations near and far had mustered at the homestead overnight. For the bushmen love hard riding where the wild bush horses are, and the stock horse snuffs the battle with delight. There was Harrison, who made his pile when Pardon won the cup. The old man with his hair as white as snow. But few could ride beside him when his blood was fairly up. He could go wherever horse or man could go. And Clancy of the Overflow came down to lend a hand. No better horseman ever held the reins. And never horse could throw him, or those saddle earths would stand. He learnt to ride while droving on the plains. And one was there, a stripling on a small and weedy beast, with something like a racehorse undersized, with a touch of team or pony, 3 parts thoroughbred at least, and such as are by mounted horsemen prime. He was hard and tough and wiry, just the sort that won't say die. There was courage in his quick and patient tread, and he bore the badge of gameness in his bright and fiery eye, and the proud and lofty carriage of his head. But still so light and weedy, one would doubt his power to stay, and the old man said, that horse will never do for a long and tiring gallop, lad. You'd better stop away. Those hills are far too rough for such as you. So he waited, sad and wistful. Only Clancy stood his friend. I think we ought to let him come, he said. Well, I warrant he'll be with us when he's wanted at the end, for both his horse and he are mountain bred. He hails from Snowy River, up by Kosciuszko's side, where the hills are twice as steep and twice as rough, with the horses' hooves strike firelight on the flintstones every stride. Well, the man that holds his own is good enough. And the Snowy River riders on the mountains make their home, where the river runs those giant hills between. I've seen full many horsemen since I first commenced to roam, but no yet such horsemen have I seen. So we went. They found the horses by the big mimosa clump, and they raced away towards the mountain's brow. And the old man gave his orders. Boys, go at them from the jump. No use to try for fancy riding now. And Clancy, you must wheel and try and wheel them to the right. Ride boldly, lad. Never fear the spills. There never yet was rider that could keep the mob in sight, but once they gained the shelter of those hills. So Clancy rode to William, who's racing on the wing, where the best and boldest riders take their place. And he raced his stock horse past, and he made the rangers ring with his stock whip as he met them face to face. And they halted for a moment while he swung that dreaded lash, but they saw their well-loved mountain full in view. And they charged beneath the stock whip with a sharp and sudden dash, and off into the mountain scrub they flew. And fast the horsemen followed, where the gorges deep and black resounded to the thunder of their treads, and the stock whips woke the echoes, and they fiercely answered back from cliffs and crags that beetled overhead. And upward, ever upward, the wild horses made their way, where Mountain Ash and Currajong grew wide. And the old man muttered fiercely, we may bid the mob good day, no man can hold them down the other side. When they reached the mountain summit, even Clancy took a pull. It well might make the boldest hold their breath. The wild hop scrub grew thickly, the hidden ground was full of wombat holes, and any slip was death. But the man from Snowy River let his pony have its head. He swung his top whip round and gave a cheer. Ha! And he raced him down the mountain like a torrent down his bed, where the others stood back and watched in very fear. He sent the flintstones flying, but the pony kept his feet. He cleared the fallen timber in his stride, and the man from Snowy River never shifted in his seat. It was grand to see that mountain horseman ride. Through the stringy barks and saplings, on the rough and broken ground, down the hillside at racing pace he went, and he never drew the bridle till he landed safe and sound at the bottom of that terrible descent. He was right among the horses as they climbed the further hill, and the watchers on the mountains standing mute saw him ply the stockwhip fiercely. He was right among them still as he raced across the clearing in pursuit. Then they lost him for a moment where two mountain gullies met in the ranges, but a final glimpse reveals on a dim and distant hillside the wild horses racing yet, with the man from Snowy River at their heels. And he ran them single-handed till their sides were white with foam. He followed like a bloodhound on their tracks till they halted, cowed and beaten. And he turned their heads for home, and alone and unassisted brought them back. But his hardy mountain pony, he could scarcely raise a trot. He was blood from hip to shoulder from the spur. But his pluck was still undaunted and his courage fiery hot. For never yet was mountain horse at curve. And down by Kosciuszko, where the pine-clad ridges raise, their torn and rugged battlements on high, with the air as clear as crystal, and the white stars fairly blaze at midnight in the cold and frosty sky. Where around the overflow the reed beds sweep and sway to the breezes, and the rolling plains are wide. The man from Snowy River is a household word today, and the stockmen tell the story of his ride. Banjo Patterson, folks.
Woo!